I can't think of any like just massive. I mean, as we all know, being in the music industry is one long, continuous hardship. I think. Not to be so doom and gloom, but I think it's just
But it's
sort of
true.
like, yeah, if if you want to do this, it's really a cliche. Like, I hope you love it because it's not, this is not like this 9 to 5, pays well, like cush life. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess like hardship. I remember like kind of breaking off. I was the personal engineer of Black Elvis, who he's the reason I have a lot of the stuff up on the wall back there. Great friend of mine. I love him to death. I was his personal engineer for a while, and I remember just kind of like burning out on that as engineers do. Um, and I kind of wanted to break off and do my own thing. And that's a scary thing when you're kind of coming from like, you know, EMI is cutting your checks every week to I'm gonna go do my own thing and it's all on you. Um, so I think there was maybe a bit of a time there where like that was pretty tough. Just that transition. The ebbs and flows of the industry. It's just sitting out in the ocean on your surfboard, man. Like
Yeah.
waiting for the wave, and you get the right wave and you ride it in, and then like, great, that's fun for a while and it works for you. And then you got to paddle back out and go get another one. Right.
You got another one. Yeah.
So that's what it is. And hopefully just if you stick with it long enough, like you kind of alluded to earlier, you have enough going on that eventually sustains the low times. Like at least there's some stuff that like bills are still being paid. And then the good times are like, great, let's go to Europe, whatever.
But yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's that. I think it's just kind of sticking with, there's always hard times, there's always uncertainty, there's always if you can make that work early in your career and try to just stick through it, um, you know, eventually it's gonna even out and level out, and you might not always have the glamorous gig, but it'll come back around. It just kind of comes back around. I think as long as people know it's an up and down sort of deal. Um,
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to put it. And I think that's a really stark contrast between your standard career ladder where you start at entry level and you get promoted and
mhm,
seniority plays in your favor, so the salary just consistently goes up, and then you eventually work your way to a nice cush retirement. That's
sure.
not how this industry works, and I think a lot of people think it doesn't help that the best parts and the worst parts of the music industry are what's portrayed in the movies and the TV shows. It's like the very best and the very worst.
Yeah.
They don't show you everything in the middle, in
No,
between when
exactly.
things are just okay, or
Yeah.
they're just a little bit less than okay, or
Yeah.
they're just a little bit over okay. Like,
Totally. Yeah.
that's not shown to a lot of people. So I think people don't understand it's not
Yeah.
linear. It's very
Yeah.
much a roller coaster. Like you said, it's the waves. It's catching a wave.
Yeah. That's it, man.
So
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
really good way to put that.
Those in betweens are, that's where it's like, yeah, I really do love doing this. Like, even though it's like the phone's not ringing right now, but I'm still like making songs and I'm still putting stuff out, or like stuff that I worked on, 6 months ago is finally getting released and I can post about, so it's just sort
Yeah.
of
Or
that
it's
kind of
like
deal.
you make something and you sit on it and you don't know how long you're going to sit on it before something happens.
Big time.
My first sync placement, which wound up being with Netflix and DreamWorks,
Crazy.
was
Yeah.
a song that I had been sitting on for 4 years. 4 years. I didn't even know the manager I was with at the time. When I made that song, I didn't even know who he was, let alone had I not signed with him yet. And I don't think he had yet met that sync agent that he got the song
Gotcha.
sent to. So
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen in the future. So you have to, as long as you continue to create, and
Big time.
it's one of those things. I mean, like you said, songs coming out 6 months later,
Yep.
that
Yep.
process, you got to be writing that whole 6 months,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta,
Just keep the funnel going.
yeah. There's also, I like to call it the mercy kill effect, where if you
I
try
like that.
something for long enough, eventually the universe is going to be like, fine, dude, take
Yeah.
it here.